Welcome to the Weird But Wonderful podcast. This is last week's episode. If you'd like to get today's episode, you can head over to patreon.com/oneweirdpodcast and get episodes a week early by supporting the show. Either way, enjoy the episode. I'll talk to you next time. Peace. It's the Weird But Wonderful podcast. Welcome back. It's your weekly dose of weirdness. A pretty big asterisk on the word weekly. With me, the Prince of Maple Syrup, James Carline. On this show, we take a journey into the minds of strange people doing strange things. I'd love nothing more than to kick this one off with, in these times of shutdowns, re-shutdowns, re-restrictions. I want to bring people together. And in my mind, there's really no way to bring us together when we're apart than Misconnections. My personal favorite segment, and I just want to jump in. I want to kick this one off with some love. Kick it off on that love thing. How's your day going? Worse now? Yeah, me too. This one is a girl and her rhino in Cornwall Park in Bellingham, Washington. In the sun and rain, I see you reading day after day. Do I need to explain what Misconnections is? If you're brand new to the idea of Misconnections, it's basically you had a seemingly meaningless encounter with someone in the real world, and maybe you and another person at like a Coles or a Woolworths, I was going down the aisle as they were coming up and we sort of looked at each other and smiled like twice. Then obviously you go home, you bring up Craigslist, you go to Misconnections and you post that experience on the internet, kind of like a message in a bottle, casting it out there, desperately hoping that that same person felt what you felt and also went seeking you online in Misconnections on Craigslist. It's very specific. It's like love songs and dedications, except kind of less specific than that, because love songs and dedications, you need to be there at that exact minute. Like, hey, this one's going out to Mary from Dylan. Dylan says, oh my God, Mary, so soz about eating your hot dogs. Please take me back. This one's for you. Baby, come back. Dylan ate all your dogs, and he's sorry, and he'll buy you new ones. My favorite remix of that song. Anyway, so Misconnections. This guy has taken to the internet and written a girl and her rhino, and this is in Cornwall Park in Bellingham, Washington in the US. In the sun and the rain, I see you reading day after day. Your yard unkempt but endearing, with flowers, a spotted brown and white dog. A rhino stands guard in the bushes nearby. It's a busy street, but you don't look up as the cars pass you by. You just sit on the steps. Sometimes your long legs stretched and others curled beneath you as you keep warm in an oversized sweatshirt. You just read. Who are you? Dare I say hello? Would that interrupt your words? I wonder who you are. What's your dog's name? And the rhino? You just keep reading. So obviously, rhino lady, if you're out there, someone's looking for you. But am I the only one that got the vibe? When I first read this, I was screaming. In fact, I had to call David just to read it out to him so that I could share this with another human being at the time that I found it, because it was, I mean, you've now heard it. Isn't that crazy? Just a little bit. I know we all get goofed up on that love thing, as we said at the start of the show, but it feels like, and I'm hoping this is a point of reference that you and I share, You know Dan from Gossip Girl, everyone's favorite program. And then he went on to do the show You on Netflix. I don't know the actor's name. I just know that he's Dan from Gossip Girl. Anyway, Dan from Gossip Girl did the show You. I feel like this character, I'm going to put a picture of him on the screen, obviously, but I feel like that character is this guy. I just picture him like in a pulled down baseball cap, with jacket sort of pulled up and him sort of like with his back turned towards the property, glancing over at her as she reads in her front yard. Like this isn't a misconnection. This is, I've been stalking someone for a while now, and fuck, I really would just like to know their name before I kill them, because what the fuck is it? No love thang vibes on this one for me. Just a lot of concern. A lot of concern. In the sun and rain, I see you reading day after day. That implies that he's been there multiple days. So if he knows that she's outside, whether it's raining or sunny, then it's been a prolonged period of time. And he even says, I see you reading day after day. So this is a consistent thing that he's doing with his time and life. It's hey, this one feels soaked in crime juice. It feels soaked in voyeurism, first of all. Like, I don't know. And he's noticing like very strange details, like, oh, it's a busy street, but she doesn't look up when cars drive by, so I might be able to attack her then. Maybe he's trying to get the rhino. He seems very interested in the rhino. I'm just saying concerning. I'm concerned. Rhino girl, I'm very concerned for you. Bellingham Hills long border. You're mesmerizing and beautiful. I stand there motionless every time I see you going down the hill. Long hair flowing in the wind. I don't know where you're coming from or where you're going. A mystery that flashes before my eyes. Can't wait to see you fly down the street again. Stay safe, street rider. It's my favorite bit. It's the only reason I included that one. Hey, stay safe, street rider. Mwah. I just enjoyed that one. Man, I really hope street riders staying safe out there. It sounds a little bit like a local hero. Man, it's been a couple of days. I sure hope street riders staying safe. Haven't seen their long hair flowing in the wind. The mesmerizing visage flashing before my eye. What the fuck is going on? You go to other like misconnections places, and it's like Ohio. Another friend of mine lives in Ohio, so I was like, I'll dip in on that. I'll see what Cleveland, Ohio is like. Cleveland or Columbus, Ohio. It doesn't matter. And all of those are just fucking. Everyone just looking for fucking. So it's weird that there are like these little, the content of misconnections very much changes depending upon where you are in the world. If you're in Bellingham, Washington, well, first of all, if you're in Brisbane, Sydney, or Melbourne, the content is nothing. If you're in Bellingham, Washington, it's a lot of very poetic stalker talk. It's my favorite. That's actually my favorite genre of fiction. Poetic stalker talk. Yeah, and then you go to other places and it's just fuck stuff. Like, hey, I'm this. I'm looking for that. Do you want it? Let's fuck. Like that kind of stuff. Very to the point as well. Obvious eye contact at Lakewood Freddy's. Me, unmasked male, 48. You, masked female. So very, COVID times. Pretty eyes, hair, and a healthy physique. Couldn't see if you were smiling, but I noticed that you looked back several times as we passed by. Not sure if it was because I wasn't wearing a mask or if you actually had been attracted to me. I guess I'll know if you see this. I like that. It's like, hey, I saw this chick checking me out. Not sure if it was for public health and safety reasons. her health concerns, or if it was because she was picking up what I was putting down. But either way, hit me up. Let me know. Did you want to fuck, or were you just concerned that I was sort of very flippant with my own health and safety and everyone else's around me? Let me know. Reply to this message. Couldn't tell. Not sure if you want to fuck or fuck me up. Leave me a message. Truck driver with a dog in the front seat getting off the freeway. I'm a blonde girl. I was wearing jeans and a NASA t-shirt with a grey and black jacket. I probably seemed like a crazy person staring at you. I saw you getting off the freeway at Meridian. You had a blonde dog with you, and he looked just like my dog that I lost last year. I know it probably wasn't the same dog, but I noticed that the dog noticed me, and it seemed like he was freaking out, like he was excited to see me. I'm probably tripping and just being hopeful, but I hope you see this, and I hope if you've only had the dog with you for about a year that you contact me so I can get him back if it is him. He was my everything. His name's Louie. Hey, if that's my fucking dog, could I, get it back? Thanks. Hey, try calling him Louie a couple of times and just see if he sort of responds to that or gets excited. And if he does, obviously reply to this and give me my fucking dog back. So I just sort of like how presumptuous it started to get as well. Like, if you've only had the dog with you for about a year, contact me so I can get him back. You drove you drove past someone, saw a dog that resembled your dog. I get it. Like, if it is your dog, blah, 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 feelings and words. What are the odds that you are cruising down the freeway and you just glance over and there's your fucking dog in someone else's car looking back at you, excited as fuck to see you because what's up, that's my owner. And you just have to veer off in separate directions on the highway. Now constantly plagued by the thought, was that my fucking dog? Did this fucking guy have my dog? I hope it pans out for you. I hope that is Louie. I hope that he's safe and that this dog stealing piece of shit gives him back to you. Alternatively, if it's not your dog, soz for calling the owner a piece of shit. So that's it for another week of my favorite segment, Misconnections. I personally feel, closer to the world, really. If I think about it, the world, yeah, definitely feel more closer to the world and people around me. I'll still scream like, get back! Like when I'm at Coles and Woolworths and stuff, I'm just sort of grabbing my packet of Tim Tams and I say, 6 feet! 1.5 meters! But just super excited to be connected with people again. And speaking of getting connected with people, young US men are having a lot less sex in the 21st century, a recent study shows. I'm going to make a couple assumptions because, again, I haven't read this. The headline, normally I read enough to be like, okay, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast, but even the headline was enough on this for me to just be like, saving all of it. So I'm going to make a couple of predictions. I think the reason men are maybe having less sex in the 21st century is because, video games are pretty good now. Netflix, can finally watch all of those Scorsese movies, that I've been putting off. And, graphics are just so good. And porn, let's face it, the proliferation of technology and media, can sort of just like tap in, tap off, in a couple of minutes. That was the worst. The worst. The actual worst. My prediction, it's mainly going to be technology based, I think, is going to be my prediction for why men are having less sex. And because more of them are snowflake beta cuck. No, I'm just kidding. Sexual activity among young American men has declined sharply since 2000, with nearly a third reporting no sex with a partner in the prior year, according to a survey study published on Friday that suggests social media and electronic gaming might be filling the void. What did I tell ya? It's just, it's like classic World of Warcraft got released, it's already a grind to hit 60. And then it's like, if you want to be rank 14, you want to get that High Warlord, Grand Marshal title, that takes a lot of dedication, and you can't, sometimes you've just got to make sacrifices, and not enough people are talking about that, to earn your High Warlord title. Not enough people are talking about very specifically that one thing. So I don't actually play Classic WoW. I played the original one, was a huge fan. Let's say too much of a fan. Way too much of a fan. Anyone who's ever played WoW knows exactly what that means. Just, when you get to a point where you're like, if I don't get rid of this, then I'm rat fucked. Absolutely rat fucked. Nothing else is happening. You know when you've got that like vice, and hey, no one else is gonna fucking get rid of it for you, and you know that you have the self-control. Let's face it, it's quite obvious looking at me that my self-control is paper thin. However, removing video games, it's something that, has needed to be done at certain points in my life. And maybe they trickle back in. Maybe an Overwatch game here or there, but a weird insight into my life. I guess, well, hey, fuck it while we're here. Let's swim around in this for a minute. Yeah, especially now that I'm like freelancing 2 days a week, it's very easy when and I'm sure a lot of people are figuring this out fucking with more and more people working from home. I don't work from home with my other job, just my freelance stuff. So it's very easy when you're responsible for your own investment of time into certain things or allocation of time to just go, nah, and just play video games. So I know that for me to not play video games instead of working, my freelance work, the video games just have to be deleted. I can't, if I give myself, I'm a piece of shit. I am a piece of shit. If I give myself an inch, I will take a mile. So I'm just saying the video games are gone, They come and go in and out of my life, and it's been many a moon now since I've played a game. But part of me is kind of super jealous of people who are just like, they have their 9 to 5, and then they come home, and then their like thing is like they play like Dungeons and Dragons with their friends, or they go to like one of those like games, tabletop games places or whatever, and play with people, or they just, they have some like MMORPG thing that they play, and like that's it. That's their thing. They're fucking happy. They're content, and it's like I have this stupid fucking idiot brain that just wants to make stuff and constantly be moving forward. That's not like, does that sound like a weird, I'm not trying to make that out to be a weird flex, even though I don't really think it could be one. I'm just saying, like, I'm jealous of people who like are just content, with their fuck. Is that sad? Anyway, let's get to people who are more sad than me. People who aren't fucking. The trend is concerning as sexual relationships are important for well-being and health, researchers note. The survey found that from 2000 to 2018, nearly 1 in 3 US men aged 18 to 24 reported no sexual activity in the past year. That's because they like Reddit and stuff. And Reddit is where you go to die. Not really. Just, hey. Essentially, all Reddit is really is just sort of like people who are into a thing, and then there's like, you know, micro communities on there. So I don't really know why I have such a problem with Reddit. I think I have a problem with like the stereotype of Reddit in my head, which is like the fucking dickhead nerd people who like gatekeep stuff and they're elitist and they like shit on anyone. Like no one's ever like, yeah, good. Yeah, interesting insight. And I also, let me add to that, it's always someone being like, hey, it's just someone kicking the door in and being like, hey, let me fucking tear every piece of that down and then tell you why you're a fucking idiot. It's been my limited experience on Reddit. And sort of like, I just see that I hear a lot of other people like that sort of, everyone that I talk to who is like into Reddit, and then I say that, they go, yeah, well, there's that, but, and then, and then it's like, but then there are these other things. It's like, yeah, but it's still mainly that though, isn't it? The lack of sexual activity or sexual inactivity was also on the rise among men and women aged 25 to 34 during the survey period. In the report in the journal JAMA Network Open found JAMA Network Open? JAMA Network Open is what you called your thing. JAMA Network Open. Okay. Here I am shitting on things, just like doing the thing that I don't like that other people do. Again, we've covered it. I'm a piece of shit. Possible reactions for the decline in sexual frequency may also include stress or juggling work and intimate relationships, as well as the prevalence of other forms of solo entertainment. You know what that means? We know what that means. Solo entertainment, huh? Masturbation. Quote, there are now so many more choices of things to do in the late evening. Okay, they also meant like video games and Nintendo Switch and like, you know, crossword puzzles on your phone and shit. So that's what they meant by solo entertainment. I sort of just thought it meant sex stuff, but that's fine. So there are now more things to do in the late evening than there once were, and fewer opportunities to initiate sexual activity if both partners are engrossed in social media, electronic gaming, or binge watching. Jean Twenge from the Department of Psychology in San Diego State University said in an editorial accompanying the report, by analyzing biennial survey data between 2000 and 2018 from nearly 10,000 men and women aged 18 to 44 years, researchers found that 16.5% of respondents reported less sexual activity in 2016 to 2018 versus 9.5% in 2000 to 2002, mostly among unmarried heterosexual men. Well, okay, so it's like almost doubled. It went from 9.5% to 16.5%. Of course it did. Like, what were you doing in the year 2000 on your computer? Oh yeah, babe. No, I'll come to bed. It's like I've almost beaten Minesweeper. Sexual activity was largely unchanged among unmarried women, along with no notable decline among gay men, researchers reported. So, single women have always just been like, no. They were like, oh, really? Men not really getting laid, huh? It's not my experience at all. Not my experience at all. Always been able to fuck if I want to. And then gay men have also been like, yeah, me too. Always been able to fuck. What's up with straight dudes? What's happening? Where do we, are we dropping the ball? Are we shit? We just shit at it. Hey, do you like cars? What about like what's your guild called? They don't, and they're gone. And they're gone. Given a preference for men of higher socioeconomic status and the larger number of college-educated women than men, some young men may find it difficult to form heterosexual relationships, the researchers note. Men who were unemployed or had lower income were more likely to be sexually inactive, as were men and women who were students. So if you're unemployed or have less money, you're less likely to be fucking. Well, doesn't that go back to like hunter-gatherer, like biological, women want, or heterosexual women want men who can provide or are powerful or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, are we that shocked by research saying, hey, women prefer to fuck dudes who have more money than someone who is unemployed and has no money? Does seem weird. Yeah, I don't know. Because because thinking about that, no dude is like, I was gonna have sex with this chick. Been talking to this chick on Tinder for a while, and then we were gonna have sex, and then I found out she actually is of pretty low socioeconomic standing, so can't fuck her, I guess. Just seems weird that like I think there are like less things dudes are taking into account for, their potential sexual partners than women. Women are like, well, they got to have this and this other thing and like that, because like I have standards and I'm not going to lower them for it. And it cuts to a dude and he's just like, does she want to have sex with me? Because then yes. Higher income could mean more resources to search for partners and could be considered as more desirable by such partners. Study co-author Peter Ueda of the Karolinska Institute in Sweden said in an email. While outside the study period, the COVID-19 pandemic that has left many unemployed and fearful of infection is likely to exacerbate the trend. The consequences of the outbreak on sexual relationships is an issue that warrants monitoring, Ueda said. That's interesting. So someone who's like, so ladies obviously less inclined to have sex with someone who, or form a relationship with someone who is unemployed. But what if would that translate to now? Or what about people who are in jobs that have seasonal unemployment? You know what I mean? Are they less likely? Are their numbers up on season and then down off season? Interesting. It's just interesting that women have like, more and hey, for good reason. You should probably have more reasons to want to forge a relationship with someone or have sex with them than but do they think I'm hot and they want to have sex with me? Yes, then yes. Driver crashes, then stabs himself in Beaverton, Portland, Oregon. What began with a pursuit of a suspected drunk driver ended in a self-inflicted stabbing Thursday night in Beaverton, according to the Washington County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office said deputies received a report of a possible drunk driver around 9 p.m. After finding the car in question, deputies attempted to chase it and pull the driver over. However, after the driver ran a red light, authorities were forced to momentarily call off the pursuit. A short time later, the driver crashed on Rosa Road. As deputies approached the driver's side of the car, the man inside stabbed himself in the stomach and then the chest, the sheriff's office said. Deputies began administering first aid until medics arrived and took over. He was rushed to hospital and remains in critical condition, authorities said. The driver has not yet been publicly identified, but is now being charged with DUI, attempt to elude, reckless driving, reckless endangering, and failure to perform the duties of a driver. So, sorry. That's not funny. But if I am rolling around to the window and I'm like, I'm the cop and I've got my flashlight up and I'm about to get to the driver's side window and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to give me your driver's license and register. Oh my God! And he's just in there like, ah! You know, a little funny. That's a little funny. Not gonna take me alive, coppers! It's just a DUI. Cool it. Ah, oh, fuck, is it? Oh, shit. All right, get an ambulance then. I have done a number on myself. That's going to do it for this episode. If you're a supporter of the show on Patreon, if you're a producer level patron, stick around, stay tuned for the post-credits bonus question. Very much like I say it all the time, like a Marvel movie over here. You sick of Marvel movies yet? Probably not. Post-credits style. We have a post-credits bonus piece of content, so stick around if you're a Patreon supporter. If you're not yet a supporter on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/oneweirdpodcast. Check out the tiers. You know, there's plenty of goodies to get your hands on, early episodes, behind the scenes, bonus content. Go check out the tiers. If there's something on there that tickles your fancy or you just want to support the show, support me, become a patron today. It's essentially just like a subscription. Could be $1 a month, could be $3 a month, could be $5 a month, whatever you want it to be. And then depending upon how much you pay, there are certain, you know, benefits and rewards that you get. You know, if you're into that, if you've never done Patreon before, that's essentially how it works. But yeah, go check it out. Support the show. Again, very special thank you to the people who are supporters of the show. Shane, Sam, our producer patron, Sam. Guys, I say it all the time, but, you know, super appreciative of the fact that you back it with your bucks, you know, which is a whole separate level of commitment, which is, you know, because it's like, you know, when you tell a friend about something or you show something to someone and now that's a reflection of you. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Yeah. So I guess like paying for something is like, you know, just, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's amazing that I can make this thing, you know, in my house with a fucking microphone and a camera, and there are people who like it enough who listen every week and like it so much that they want to, you know, kick in a couple bucks and support it. So again, thank you guys. I very much appreciate it. If you want to keep up to date with all the things going on with the show, you can head over to the socials. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all at One Weird Podcast. Or you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at My Pixel Persona. I had to remember that for a second there. And don't forget, share the show with a friend. Word of mouth is king in the podcasting realm, particularly if you're not NPR or a celebrity. Anyway, the battery's flashing at me, so I got to get out of here. Leave a review wherever you get podcasts. Share the show with a friend. You know, lets these algorithms know it ain't trash over here. So, again, thank you so much for listening. This has been episode 67. Come back for 68, and I'll see you next time. Peace. 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 Bye.